Can keep this. The draw new matchup. Should have 4-1 the last league too, so deck's definitely feeling good. And pay out the believers. Could get a league prediction 2. Turn 1 Beseiju. My Grazer against my turn 1 Ragavan. Maybe I'll draw a Luminarch Aspirant. We do have a bunch of Blood Moons in the sideboard. Game 1 against Titan is kind of tough. You have Solitude also. It's not the worst. Deck tech for Browser. Grixis hero deck, I suppose. I don't actually love this. Played the 4th Murktide Regent over the 1st Tasigur. Murktide Regent is a lot better than Tasigur. Just play the 4th one instead. Just like take a breath, let go of the hero card. Just play the 4th one. Additionally, if you're gonna play Grixis Control with like Drown of Luck specifically, I think that it's probably better to be in on Into the Story as your card advantage spell over Jace the Mind Sculptor. I think that was, like, in my opinion, always the reason to be blue-black base is just be in on like Drown, Into the Story. And so that would be something like no Jace, no Iteration, 3 Into the Story, and then potentially playing Thought Scour as an enabler for both of those cards. So Thought Scour over Consider, so you can scour your opponent so you can Into the Story, which I think is okay at the moment since there's not a lot of Dredge. You would play 4 Drown in the Luck as well, so like 4 Drown, no Terminate. I think right now I'd be on like I would likely be in on 4 push 2 bolt, but you're playing Snapcaster Mage because you really want to. I understand. You could play Snapcaster Mage in that shell. You could play like 3. I don't like 3 copies of Kolaghan's Command. I would play like 1 or like 0. I don't like this main deck Dreadbore at all. I don't like this main deck Bloodchief's Thirst over the Fatal Push. I mean, if my opponent just has nothing, we draw Heliod. Yeah, so be 3 Into the Story as your main card advantage spell, plus the Snapcaster Mages, plus, you know, Snap Charm and stuff. Thought Scour over Consider to enable that. 4 Drown over the Bloodchief's Thirst iteration, or Bloodchief's Thirst Dreadbore. You probably want like a couple of Spell Pierces too, like 2 Spell Pierce over Kolaghan's Command 3 and 4. You have like maybe a flex spot to play around with. Okay. Let's go to game 2. Gonna bring in Blood Moon and Wear Tear and Giant Killer. Very favorable card to this matchup. Gonna cut the Recommissions, gonna cut down the Lay Down Arms, and I want to cut some number of Sentinels. I think Chalice is okay to bring in. Chalice on 0 is fine. Recommission doesn't do much. Guess we'll just play a couple Sentinels. Could play a couple Lay Down Arms. Lay Down Arms is okay against Dryad. Maybe 1 of each. Lay Down Arms is also okay against Grazier. If you go turn 1 Ragavan, they go Grazier. Yeah, we could play 2. Worst was the Blood Moons, but Blood Moons in play, you're doing pretty good. Don't play any Inquisitions in a deck like this. Play any number of Thoughtseize in the sideboard over any number of Inquisition. These Hidetsugu consumes all. Exiling your own graveyards in your opponent's yard is so bad with Drown and your Delve spells. I don't think you can play this card. Play Path to Peril instead, because it also answers Sanctifier and Vec. Yeah, like 3 Path to Peril on the sideboard seems good. Like 3 Path, 3 Hearse, 3 Flusterstorm is where it starts. And then, yeah, got other options. Probably a good time to have like an anti-red card in the sideboard. In Grixis colors, you don't have great options is probably the problem. I don't want to play Collective Brutality. Probably play the first Alpine Moon. Like 2 Alpine Moons maybe. That's 11 cards. Like 2 Dress Down, 13. This hand doesn't have a Blood Moon. How aggressively am I supposed to mulligan to Blood Moon in this matchup? Very aggressively. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what those other two sideboard cards. I mean, they could be a couple of Thoughtseizes. I think that's probably enough feedback. People not play Path anymore. No, Path to Exile. White has great removal. White has really, really good removal. You have Prismatic Ending, Solitude, March of Otherworldly Lights, Lay Down Arms, Onthanize. I feel like there's another one I'm forgetting. Leyline Binding. Freaking Leyline Binding. Yeah, you can play Path in like the sideboard of Hammer Time, but and like maybe Burn. It's just not a main deck card. Yeah, Portable Home. Yeah, I was thinking we would maybe have to Solitude a Grazer to turn 2 Blood Moon. Thankfully we don't. Ooh. Play Amulet ourselves. I have like this really vivid memory. At my first LGS, I'd only ever played Standard, and I was looking at like the case at cards, and I was looking at like Emrakul, and I remember thinking Emrakul was crazy, and people were explaining to me how 15 mana was just so much mana. I'm like, I don't know, that seems pretty good. I might play the Dryad here. I have like really good mana. But against Force of Vigor too. Nah, I don't know. Maybe I should just play the other moon. Let's just play the other moon. They don't play Force of Vigor. But I also like very vividly remember seeing Death Shadow and Amulet of Vigor. Like I remember thinking both those cards were just really, really cool. I remember thinking both those cards were really cool. And I didn't know. That was kind of the end of it, but it is neat that those cards now see a good amount of play. What farms Murktide? General Rockrick, the Mono White Restoration Conduit deck I like to play. Green Red Food. Blue White Control's solid against it. But I was thinking like the other day that like Rockrick has got to be really good right now. Where there's just like, there's not much Tron, there's not much spell-based combo. The spell-based combo there is Cascade, you have Chalice. I think Rockrick's gotta be really good right now. So I've been kind of looking at Rockrick maybe, and there's also like not a lot of Yorion, which is always the problem with that deck. So I was looking at maybe playing Eldarmor's Call in that version too, maybe see that this week or next week. Yeah, but there are plenty of decks that are good against Murktide. Ooh, Cultivator Colossus. Yeah, not a lot of Omnath decks, I mean. And even the Omnath decks that do exist, they don't have Yorion now anymore, so you can like kind of fight through them now. We played a little bit of Rockrick after the Yorion ban. I would like to play a little more. Can flash in Solitude end of turn to present lethal if we want to. What's Rockrick? Yeah, let me pull up the list. Although it may be a little all over the place because I was working on it. But this is a deck that was like really well positioned. Like it was a big trophy race carrier in like the first trophy race before like the Yorion decks kind of took over. We've played a lot of different versions and. Okay, so usually I play Faithful Mending over like the Eldarmor's Call and the Solitudes, where Mending's really good with Ren and gives you density of multicolored spells for Rockrick. But this is a deck built around triggering General Ferris Rockrick, Dirty Modern Horizons 2 card, 3 mana, 3/1 hexproof from monocolored. So this card is very, very good against both Scam and Murktide. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, you make a 4/4 token. And so this also gets to be a really good Chalice deck, since there really aren't good multicolored spells that cost 1 mana. And so you get to play the white removal spells that get around Chalice, plus Chalice, plus, all the good multicolor spells. And this is a deck we played a lot on stream, and I think is like probably super well positioned at the moment. Okay, easy keep. So if you want a deck that just farms Murktide, that one's probably the best one. Also, the Mono White Restoration Conduit deck I was playing a couple months ago, that deck's really good against Murktide too. Okay, love to draw land here. How's this hammer matchup? Really, really good. You're a Chalice, Leyline Binding, Prismatic Ending deck. You have Wear Tear on the board. It's good. Dredge Farms Murktide even better. I don't know if I would say better, but probably about the same, you know. Ooh. Land and the Second Blood Moon are pretty good draws, huh? In a Rockrick deck, how often does it you cast Rockrick when you have a Rockrick to make a 4/4? Somewhat often. Oh, okay, so I saw a screenshot. I think Fire Shoes retweeted Rockrick with Kiora. So I don't know. Kiora is a multicolored card for Rockrick, and it also, when you cast a multicolored spell with Rockrick in play, you draw a card, which is kind of sick. I don't know if I like ever. Okay, yeah. So I started to work on it. And so like if you play Kiora, you can play Utopia Sprawl over Chalice, and you can turn 2 Rockrick. And I feel like I wasn't playing enough 4 power creatures, so I wanted to figure out more Omnaths, and I also wanted to get Rockrick more consistently, because if you're like really in on this, you know what I mean. So maybe this is something we end up doing. It's one of those like I never actually ended up playtesting it kind of brews. But I'll get around to it. Yeah, I don't know whose idea it was, because I wish I could shout them out, but it was something I saw on Twitter. That was really cool. I didn't see a list, It seemed like it was a hard deck to build. Maybe Soul of Windgrace? Maybe. You have to splash like a 5th color, but that is a card I like. Okay. I'm gonna get the Second Blood Moon down. Second Blood Moon's pretty tough for them to beat. Get that off the field too. Splashing a Fist shouldn't be too hard. I mean, it's something you would like to avoid, I think, if you can. It's also like Soul of Windgrace is not that good if you don't have Urza Saga. I mean, it's okay. It's like better if you have Valakut or Urza Saga. But you could. It would not be the worst deck building decision I've seen. But Force, I mean, Force of Vigor is just not that common. It's usually like Beseiju. Sometimes they'll have some number of Force sometimes, but you also like can't be scared of monsters in the closet. Like it's just way more likely they have a Beseiju for the first Blood Moon. You should play around that here because you can. They have Force of Vigor into Titan. You lose anyways, basically no matter what. Not sure if I'm supposed to Ragavan here. Seems okay. What about Rhinos? Yeah, I was kind of thinking that like you could do. It's just too many 3-drops. You know what I mean? But you could like Kiora, Charlotte's Agent, Violent Outburst, Rockrick. It'd be very fun. Temur Ascendancy too. They have Dismember. Sure. Maybe Leyline Binding instead of Ending. That deck has both. Yeah, but like Rockrick, Rhinos, Violent Outburst, Charlotte's Agent. It seems really sweet, but the problem is you just like Rhinos doesn't need a better late game probably. It'd be pretty fun. Go Ranger-Captain, go. Yeah, that would be the Bloodbraid version. Although you almost definitely have to play like 4 Force of Negation. I mean, you can play Force, Leyline Binding, Fire, Ice is your interaction. Kiora is probably like just not as good as Temur Ascendancy though. I can't believe Temur Ascendancy is like on my radar for a conversation like this, but I remember it was like pretty cool tech, like right when Rhinos was a deck that was coming out. Temur Ascendancy to give your Rhinos haste and draw a card for each Rhino, and it also trigger Rockrick, draw a card for Rockrick. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to hold those Solitude. Yeah, you can't play Force of Negation with Bloodbraid. I mean, you can, and just not be a coward. I don't think that philosophy is actually that bad. It's like Bloodbraid Elf is like what, like 80. So if assuming that like Force of Negation is your only hit for it, which it probably won't be, you probably have like, Brazen Borrowers and stuff. If you're like, but assuming like you're like 80% to hit a really good card off Bloodbraid Elf and like 20% to brick, that's really not so bad. It's not really so good either. Bitter Reunion for Marauders Rhinos. Okay, that actually sounds really sick. Okay, I will say the other brew is finally a Bitter Reunion deck. Oh, I thought it had one more mana. It actually sounds really cool. Bitter Reunion in Delirium Rhinos. Oh, and then Bitter Reunion. Okay, so that's something too. Bitter Reunion, Marauder for the Cascade spell, and then Arcane Proxy as like both. Arcane Proxy being a creature artifact helps you get Delirium easier, and Arcane Proxy, you discard Rhinos, cast Rhinos with Arcane Proxy. That is, you know, something. So let me put that on my sticky note and continue to steal ideas from Twitch chat. I've just been trying to be a bit better about keeping like digital sticky notes for my deck ideas and stuff. Okay, glad to be able to get one of these Besagers out of there. Let me go and grab a Plains with this, I think. Is a bit better than 1 damage. Spike playing Rhinos, Humorous really wants you back. Well, of course I do, Doom. But also, I want you to want to be back, you know what I mean? If you don't want to be back, you know, take your time. Cast Summoner's Pact for Tireless Tracker. And then plays a clue token. They gotta get this, you gotta get the moons off the field or they're gonna die to Pact. So they have to have exactly Force of Vigor green card, but then they die to my Ballista, just kill the tracker, attack them. Or just, yeah, ping them. Okay. Well, that list was really weird. Like, I believe I also heard that that player never cast any of the 3 main deck Force of Vigors once in the entire tournament, which is wild to think. I don't know. It's just hard to think. I think the first copy of Arcane Proxy is fine in Rhinos, but in this Bitter Reunion version, like, you could theoretically make it better than just, like, I cast this after I've cascaded once, you know? Oh, that's a different tournament. I see. I don't know. Arcane Proxy is definitely the kind of card that will look really good when you do cast it, and will look, you know, kind of mid when it's just sitting in your hand. But I think the first copy is fine and like not mandatory. Peter, thank you for Twitch Prime. Appreciate you. Plains Aether Vial. This is just taxes. It's humans. Maybe could have guessed that. Downlands Lieutenant. So I have Esper Sentinel, Ranger-Captain in my deck as cards that trigger this. But honestly, I kind of just want to... I don't really want to play the Ballista, so we'll just play Downlands Lieutenant. No, prototypes have too high a mana value to recommission. They keep their mana value in the yard, sadly. Recommission, very good mechanic. I wish that they were like a little bit more pushed for modern, because they're really cool. Okay, so I guess this turn I'm just going to trade Ragavan for something, recommission Ragavan, play Giver. And then I don't need to lay down arms Lieutenant right now. I can just lay down arms later without like needing to use my treasure. If you thought Ragavan was bad with a 2-1, wait till you see it at 3-2. No thoughts to swing both and cast Blitz on 2, kill the 2/2 if it blocked. Well, if my opponent blocks, I want them to trade because I have 2 recommissions in my hand. You know what I mean? And also, like, the if blocked is really... That line of text is really pulling a lot of weight here because they're going to block the Ragavan. You know what I mean? They're going to block the Ragavan. You have another Lieutenant? Charming Prince. Charming Prince flicker my lieutenant. Do they see the line? They do. Gross. Man, Ragavan sucks. Okay, block like this. Yeah, they're gonna block the Ragavan. Wow, that was great though. Okay, so I get to lay down arms Adeline for 1 mana, which is really nice. I think I need to Ballista on 1, kill this lieutenant now. Since it's just so bad if they get to Vial and save it. And then I can take 3 from this Charming Prince, block pro white, and I can go Recommission Ballista next turn, plus Aspirant, and then have Aspirant plus Ballista to get a bunch of counters and start controlling this board, hopefully. They upkeep sack their Silent Clearing to get better info if they should take up Vial to 3, but I think they should have just left the Vial on 2 and just drawn their card. Yeah, I saw Evans having goalless deck. I was there when he was doing the Brew stream for it too. It was a very fun league. Dominaria Remastered is for modern or what formats? Dominaria Remastered. I haven't heard of Dominaria Remastered. I imagine that's likely an arena set. Okay, I don't know why they didn't attack with both. Pretty good draw. It's like Time Spiral Remastered. I see. I wonder if anybody has any thoughts about Wizards printing a lot of sets. I wonder if there was a word to discuss different takes and a dialogue for a day. Like dialogue for a day on Twitter. I wonder if there is a word for that. Maybe not in my limited vocab. Alright, deck tech for Peter. If you post a link in the chat, I can take a look. Ooh, Pyre of Heroes. Love to see the Pyres in this deck. So I wonder if they can get anything to stop me from Heliod comboing. Maybe a Deputy of Detention. I guess they can't get Deputy with Pyre. What's the cause of the no discourse rule? It's too painful to talk about. But your land actually had lethal. So I give this pro white. Just this morning, as soon as I logged into Twitter for the day, people were complaining about Image 2 a lot. With it's not like anything new. People were just bored, which is okay. You can be bored. Yeah, but Peter, if you post a link in the chat, I can use deck tech. Here we go. Jund combo. Alright, so Persist, Rhythm of the Wild. Interesting. Okay, so there is a 2-mana 2/2 Persist Goblin from Modern Horizons 2, I think. That is probably going to be... hold on. I think I'm just taking 3. That's probably going to be better for you than Safe Gold Elite because it pitches to Grief. I don't think that the creature types here are particularly relevant, and I don't think it's particularly harder to cast either. In fact, I would really like to get this deck down to just black-red if possible, although maybe that's not possible. Because there is there's a new 2-mana enchantment from the new set that whenever a creature leaves the graveyard, you put a counter on something, and so that has a lot of synergy with Bloodghast. I've been kind of working on it too, so it's gonna be kind of tough for me to I haven't figured it out, so it's kind of tough for me to just give the whole deck to you because I'm working on it. But if you cut that for this card and then you play more Bloodghast over the Wrenn and 6s, maybe trying to figure out a way to play more Diabolic Intents and less of the Persist creatures or something, that could be fine. Okay, Reflector Mage the Ballista. I think I am wanting that Ballista to stay in the hand, so let's do that. I would be kind of interested in working on that card. Maybe someone can post a link of that card in the chat. It's a 2-mana enchantment from the new set. Spell Skittles, 24 months. Happy double anniversary. Why not Giver to protect Ballista? I mean, I think it's just I already used the Giver to tank this hit. I would have to, like, you know, just chump blocking could maybe be fine, but also now I have a pretty good attack with the Ragavan, which is nice. Thran Vigil, yeah. So yeah, I'm still working on it, but like Thran Vigil over the Rhythm of the Wild is cheaper. It has more synergy in the deck with Bloodghast and the Undying effect, and with the Goblin over Safe Gold Elite, you get to play just 2 colors instead, which is probably something you're interested in. Oh, I guess I was supposed to play the other Aspirant pre-combat, but actually kind of rewarded here. Why do we not Solitude the giant creature? I mean, I can just keep blanking the giant creature with my Giver. Now I have Heliod too. Yeah, so maybe what I want to see is 2 or 3 of the red goblin over this, and then 1 of the 4 mana persist 2 damage Madcap Murderous Redcap as a Diabolic Intent target. I want to see you play maybe even the full 4 Diabolic Intents. And no Written 6, no Rhythm, more Bloodghasts. Maybe you don't play Ragavan so you can fit the combo in. Obviously, like, I think this version's worse than the combo version I think this version is worse than the non-combo version I was playing earlier, so like I would recommend playing that, but if you want to play the combo, that's how I think you have to do it, unfortunately. I'm just gonna block with Ragavan or Heliod if they don't do anything. Okay, cannot. Oh no! I'm dead. Don't have a white card. I guess I could have played around Whirler Rogue, and I failed to play around Whirler Rogue. Damn it. I guess I can't be too upset. Okay, let's cut the Esper Sentinel. Let's bring in Giant Killer. I think I like Blood Moon a lot on the play. On the draw, maybe I'll play some like Wear Tears and stuff, but Blood Moon's pretty good against humans. Better if you bring in Wear Tear also. Not a ton of room left. No, Monkey's really good against humans, especially on the play, especially in this deck with like Giver and Luminarch Aspirant. They can't be great against infinite low jumps. So deck Ragavan is not that good against goblins because you have like specifically, you know, you have like Mog War Marshal to make 1 creature 2 1/1s. Ragavan is like usually going to either at its worst, Ragavan trades for a 1 or 2 mana creature, which is totally fine. You're happy 1-for-1ing humans. And in this deck, you can make Ragavan get really big, and Ragavan is really good against humans. It's like it's not that good against like specifically goblins, but it is pretty good against most tribal decks, especially on the play. I don't know. I don't know. I really didn't see the Whirler Rogue coming, chat. What can you do? I guess what you can do is probably put back Grange here actually over the Giant Killer. Why Orvar out of all the other options to play off free guard? It's the best one. People do this a lot. Why this over all the other options? Orvar is way better to like discard and copy Archon. The other options are like Loxodon Smiter or like Wiltleaf Liege. We're doing this to discard to Archon and copy Archon. I don't know if that's, you know, not super obvious, but a lot of times people will think that there's like a better option without actually like looking and seeing if there is one first. Luminarch Aspirant, Ragavan, is literally Splinter Twin. You could have kept Giver, jumped with Ragavan, just went off the combo. I mean, I had a lot of lines. My line was fine if I, you know, assuming Whirl of Virtuoso is not in the equation, and it was really very much not on my radar. Because how could it be? So I can chop down the... No, I can't because it's a 3/3, not a 4/4. They're attacking? Okay, just gonna take the hit. I respect that, I guess. Can you put it... Okay, you can't put this on an opposing creature. Okay, so let's go... I think counter on Ragavan. Just make this giant. I think I'll be happy enough to trade Aspirant for Lieutenant if they want it. If they want to. Happy enough with a chump block as well. I can still lay down Arms Champion even with the Blood Moon in play, but we'll get the Blood Moon in play now. Big one. They have basic planes. It's kind of tough. Thankfully we have laid down arms. Alright, maybe we want to be diversifying our counters a little bit now. Meddling Mage, can't cast that one. Let's just pass. I don't think I want to cast the Giant Killer by itself right now. Aspirant is so fun to play with. Just a card that really feels good. We might lose to Pyre. The Extraction Specialist, get back Thalia. So I can put a counter on the Ragavan. And they can double block the trade, which would be fine. Okay, so they can't double block because this means this with this in play they can't block. So I'm probably gonna get Ballista with Ranger-Captain, although I have 2 humans in play, or I will have 2 humans. So instead, let's just go grab Ballista, and then I can play a Thalia's Lieutenant, get a bunch of power in play. Kind of a funny hit. Surprised I didn't get Lieutenant. They sacked with 2 drops. So they have to get a... Oh, get back Lieutenant. Yeah, getting back Lieutenant would have been better. Although it does open me up to Giant Killer. Not that they know about that card. Okay, that unlocks Idyllic Grange for me. I love this card, Lorian. Just like, I've wanted a white Reflector Mage for a long time. It's a human too. It has other text on it, I guess. They have like Reflector Mage or something. They do have like Reflector Mage or something. They're at 8 life though. Specialists does have lifelink. They bounce the Aspirant. Got some good draws here, though. So I can go Ballista for 1, put a counter on Ballista, cast a Giant Killer to trigger the Lieutenant, get a counter somewhere else, I guess the Lieutenant, to diversify my damage, kill the lifelinker, and then they have to block. They have to chop twice. Hard to imagine I'm going to find a better line. And then I play Giver post-combat, so hard to imagine I'm going to find a much better line than this. Oh my gosh, I can figure out a way to fuck it up, though. Okay, this is... sorry. I couldn't get 2... I guess I couldn't get 2 Granges either way. Always a way to fuck it up. Okay, so now I think I just play Giver and hold the Giant Killer. Attack with these first. Okay, fine with this double block. Them not having creatures is good for me for their Pyro plan to be not as effective. We have the Giver to help get damage through. Aspirant plus Giant Killer means we can have 2 4 damage threats next turn with the Giver runes in play. So they're gonna get Whirler Rogue, I would assume. Which I guess lets them survive. I don't think dashing Ragavan gives me lethal. Not that I have lethal anyways. I mean, they're at 3 instead of 4 at this point. So I could go counter on the lieutenants, dash Ragavan. They have to block Ranger Captain and Lieutenant. I could attack with Ragavan and Giver. Then they just put the Thopter in front. I do think dashing Ragavan's probably better than playing Giant Killer though, since I can just put the counter on the Lieutenant and then they have to block both the Ranger Captain and the Lieutenant, and presumably they'll also block the Ragavan, and I could just give Ragavan protection from the color of the creature that they block it with. Protection first doesn't do much. Make Captain pro colorless. If I make something pro colorless or pro blue pre-combat, they just block that with the other color. There's no reason to do it first. Why not counter on the monkey? Because the monkey's dash, I'm going to lose the counter, and either way, I just have one lethal creature. I know it's kind of a weird spot, and everybody in chat is a blue-white control player, doesn't know how to do combat, just like me. But I think this is the best line. You can't call me out like that. It's okay. We're every single person in the chat and the person in front of the chat are all blue-white control players and don't know how to do combat. Why did Colossus on Rag not work? It did work. Sorry. So if we did it pre-combat, they just block the Ragavan with the blue Whirler Virtuo. If we give something protection from colorless pre-combat, that's the creature they put the Virtuoso in front of. No matter which creature you choose, that's the one they put it in front of. And they chump block 3 times. Yeah. I think it got bounced back to our hand. It didn't die. Yeah, I think they don't seem actually as fragile to Blood Moon. They seem like mostly mono white based. Let me bring in the Wear Tears. The stand is very in on Ragavan. Lay down armors to remove, Solitude to remove, Aspirant to pump. Keep. I miss good trouble decks in Modern after image 2 they all dried. This is not true. This is not true. Goblins and Merfolk are both very good decks in Modern right now. Goblins and Merfolk are both very good. Humans has honestly kind of always not been that popular in Magic Online. It was always more popular in paper. But this is a very common statement that Modern Horizon sets kill tribal decks. Goblins and Merfolk are both very good Modern decks right now. Something I like to point out. Yeah, Yawgmoth is not a tribal deck. That's true. I think that it is tribal-esque. Not that wasn't the point I was making, but it's a small to ground creature deck. But one funny thing is, like, Humans was always such a popular deck. Humans is a very, very popular deck. To be honest, so many opinions about Modern Horizons 2. I guess we're discoursing, but like Fury and Ragavan push so many decks out of the format. It's all literally just like Humans is worse now. Whoa! Night Clubber. 3 mana 1/1. Enters the battlefield, creatures get opponent's control get -1/-1. Awesome. Great name of a card too. Okay, no more discourse. No more discourse. Night Clubber is a cool card. Literally Plague a Junior. With Blitz. Also, what is Blitz? Okay. Pretty good Pyre target. Okay, that's pretty good too. Maybe I should have laid down arms the Hierarch, huh? I really don't have to pitch these Solitudes super early. If they miss their land drop, I could probably just lay down arms this. Maybe we'll draw something to do this turn. Okay, that's something really good to do. Crying at the club right now. That's my secret chat. I'm always crying at the club. They play Lieutenant, maybe I have to Solitude something. Probably better to hit the Reflector Mage. This one's more copyable, I think. I don't think anyone's saying there are no creature decks in Modern. They're just saying that the creatures we play in Modern warp try to image 2 creatures. Yeah, sure. Okay, when you say I don't think anyone is saying there are no creature decks in Modern, people don't say that. They say Modern Horizons push creature decks out of the format. They say that literally all the time. There's also like I'm literally casting Luminarch Aspirant right now. There are plenty of like non-viable or non-Modern Horizons playable creatures, but yeah, yes, that is true. That Modern is very influenced by Modern Horizons. Yeah, people are unironically casting Wild Mikado right now, for sure. Okay, so they don't have a good attack. They name Walking Ballista, which makes sense because it's pretty good with the Aspirants. So if we can draw Ranger-Captain or any land, we get Heliod online. Don't think I have any other double devotion cards. Adeline's kind of fine. I can use Giver to block the 1/1, and I can use Aspirant to block anything else here. So they don't really have a good attack. Yeah, they don't have a good attack here. It's a bad attack. I think. Am I missing? I don't think I'm missing anything. Oh, I'm missing that this grows. Okay, so now I block like this, which is fine. So they'd sacrifice this to deal me 4. I guess that's okay. Land for Solitude would be such a blowout. This is also very good, though. Just getting that Heliod online. Love it. They have a Metally Mage on Ballista, so I think we just get a Giver of Runes. Giver's, very good at locking up boards like this. I think I'll just move the counter over to the captains at this point. And let's not attack. We just kind of need to stabilize a little bit. Giant Killer seemed good. Yeah, Giant Killer was fine. I think Giver is a little bit better because, like, I have... Well, I know I can't cast the Solitude yet, but I have, gas in the hand. And double Giver is really good on this board. Double Giver is really good on this board. Whirler is lethal. Yeah, we have to go land Whirler, and it has to be like exactly this turn. I don't understand this attack. Someone make it make sense. I don't know. I am not used to playing around combat tricks from humans, so I'm just gonna make them do whatever this is, Oh, it's okay. It's nothing. Just a concession. Well, okay. Last time I said it's a concession, I lost immediately, so not a concession. Just back up battling. Okay, yeah, that probably was not the right call. Is there a way you can see Deathcloud as a viable modern card? Deathcloud has never been a viable modern card. I know that it is a card people have registered in the past. It has always been... I say this with no hatred in my heart, but even in the Deathcloud decks, the card Deathcloud was the worst card in the deck by like a pretty significant margin. Alright, let's just not die to Whirler, Virtuoso, exile the Adeline. When you have a deck named after a card, and that card is the worst card in the deck, something has gone wrong. Did I play with Deathcloud in Standard? No. I've played plenty of Deathcloud against, not much with, but against, and watched people play it. It is, oh boy, that card is so bad. Maybe it was fine in Standard, but in modern, like the modern Deathcloud decks, Deathcloud has always been the worst card in those decks. Alright, 2-0 this league, 4-1 the last league. Should have 4-1 the first one. Deck's going great. And we have my favorite curve, Sentinel and Aspirant on the play. I hear Owling Mine is making a comeback in Modern these days. Thoughts? It's not. I don't know where you heard that. It's not. Ooh, Merfolk. Tribal decks are unplayable. Be a fun matchup. Here we go. Master of the Pearl Trident. Probably save my lay down arms for that. Ballista plus Aspirant could be a fine way to control this matchup, I think. Okay, if they violate on a 1-drop and they double block also. Owling Line won the Modern World Championship yesterday. Wow. Is Aspiring Spike out of touch? Yes. Okay, Tide Shaper, then they can violin their Lord to give these dopey dorks some island walk. They would get really blown out by a Solitude if I had a Solitude. Alas, none to be found. If they have Force of Negation, okay, well, there was maybe one to be found. So if they force this, lay down arms to get to draw a card. They don't have it. Ooh, this means the Grange doesn't enter untapped, actually. So you know what? I think I actually need to Force Pitch. I know I can cast the Sentinel, but I think the Ranger-Captain is just better in the hand. Get rid of the Tide Shaper, Ballista on 1, 2 counters on the Ballista. Mono white control, baby. Mono white control. All this message show me is that Merfolk is indeed unplayable. I don't know. Listen, we're like 9-3 on the day with Luminarch Aspirant deck. Should be 10-2. Modern's a pretty good place. I think I'm supposed to kill this now. I can get another Ballista with this Ranger-Captain. Do you think the Martyr Shadow deck I used to play with would be good to play? I think it probably wouldn't be that bad. Really, it's never been a deck I've like actively disliked or anything. Yeah, I guess I'm just going to get in a bunch of damage this turn. They don't have a good block, but we'll see if they mess up and block here. Surely no player would play more than one Idyllic Grange in their deck. Yeah, this deck is so sick. Curry, 6 months, thank you. Alright, 1-1 against Merfolk. I think I want like 2 Wear Tears over like Sentinel number 4, Recommission number 3. Don't want to get too weird with that. Don't think you want Giant Killer. You could play Giant Killer, but I think it's better off without it. This deck or Hammer. I mean, the thing with Hammer is you register Hammer Time and you have to play a format where everybody has played against your deck 1,000 times. They're very experienced in the matchup, and every player has lots of meaningful, impactful sideboard hate against you. So Hammer is a good deck, but the advantage to playing decks like this is that people don't know how to play against it, and they're not going to be able to sideboard as well against you. What moon's okay against them? It is okay, but we're on the draw. I think I'm way more likely to bring in a moon on the play than on the draw. When the moons are mid like that, I almost never bring them in on the draw. Easy mulligan, I guess. Yeah, look, my opponent is literally It's so funny. As I'm talking about how your opponents don't know how to play against you, they don't know how to sideboard against you, my opponent is literally typing in the chat, no idea what to do, lol. You know what I mean? Like, this is the advantage of the Brewer's advantage, the Rogue deck advantage. You get some percentage points. It seems that the primary plan of this deck is to beat face the side of Heliod. Yeah, exactly. Like, every single card in this deck is powerful, synergistic, and you have 4 Heliods. And you'll combo sometimes, and the threat of the combo matters a lot, but... No! Fuck, I obviously meant to keep that 5. I've been misclicking so much lately. That 5 was actually really good, damn it. Okay. The combo is Heliod Ballista. You should have kept the Wear Tear. I don't know. I think I just want to try to clear the way for Ragavan and have Ragavan steal a game on this Molda 4. But now that they cast the Vial, it's really easy to say that. If they just don't have Vial, you're silent. The combo is give Walking Ballista lifelink with Heliod. Give Walking Ballista lifelink with Heliod. Then remove a counter, ping your opponent, then trigger Heliod to put a counter on Ballista over and over again until they're dead. This was a combo that was banned in Pioneer. Alright, game 3 on the play. Maybe our 5-card hand is able to win, but it's okay. You're gonna misclick sometimes on Magic Online. I guess I could Solitude this Island Walk, or this one, dash the Ragavan. Maybe they block, maybe they don't, I hit Dismember. Yeah, they only have 1 card in their hand. I guess I'm not giving up quite yet. Although I love to give up. I want to block 2. If they have a Lord, we're in bad shape, but I think I need things to go well. We could have just laid on Arms of Merfolk. No, we couldn't, because we only had 1 Plains. Because they... Oh, we could have... But we can't dash the Ragavan, but we would have the Solitude in our hand. Okay, good to know they brought in Chalice against me. I'll keep these Wear Tears. To game 3 we go. Sorry about the misclick again. I kind of want another Sentinel, seeing that they seem to be on like a lot of non-creature spells post-board. Let's play the full 4 on the play. Yeah, so I should just lay down the Tideshaper. I was thinking that the Tideshaper turned off the lay down arms, but obviously it's got a mana value of 1. That could just cast the Ragavan and still lose. What's the paper equivalent of a misclick loss? Knocking your deck over too many times and getting a warning. What's a no discourse? You're just goofing around, don't worry about it. We're just goofing around. Alright, keep. Hopefully they have Wear Tear targets. I could Ballista this. Guess they could Subtlety Ballista. Game is over. I hit a player with a Ragavan. Alright, they probably have the flash blocker. Not much we can do about that. Oh, that one too. I was thinking the Lord. Alright, gonna grab a Ballista, second Ballista, last Ballista. That actually means if we use this Ballista and lose it, then a Heliod is not, we can't combo anymore, but probably don't combo too aggressively in this matchup anyways. But I would love for my opponent to cast a Chalice, or a Vial, or Hearse, or something. I guess Hearse ain't that likely. Yeah, I did set out Recommissions. They're not that good in this matchup. I just wanted more Wear Tears too, because I saw Chalice. Okay, well, I guess I'm unlikely to just throw away my Ballista now. I do think I want to attack. Okay, if they go Lord, they have 5, 7, 10 damage. If they go Land, Lord, I die. So I guess we check with just Ragavan. They block here, then we get to... I guess we get a lifelink too, so not die to 2 lords. Although I'm kind of turning off my ability to combo next turn, but I think that's okay. Making this a 4/4 is pretty nice. Yeah, sacking Ranger doesn't make a ton of sense because like they can either have Dismember or Subtlety as interaction for Ballista, and like turning off the answer to half of that doesn't make as much sense to me, you know. Could you Ballista, then fetch, then Heliod to have 2/2 Ballista, Ballista, then Heliod, then fetch to have 2/2 Ballista? I don't think so. Ballista on 2, then fetch. Oh yeah, we could have a 2/2 Ballista here, I suppose. Yeah. Then our like plan is like pretty face up. Maybe it's gonna be face up anyways. They know I have Ballista in my hand too, so even if they have a Dismember, it's kind of hard for them to do anything. Oh, they have the flat. Oh, I have an island. Never mind. Obviously, I have an island. Aether Vial. Can't even wear tear now that they have a target for wear tear. Fetch on a Grange Jam. All right, so let's just Ballista, lifelink the Ranger Captain, counter on Ballista. Can't win this turn. Next turn, we can though. Thoughts on Teething Wormlet, Steelseeker, Iconoclast style, and Standard? I don't play enough Standard to like have a meaningful insight or comment or opinion or thought or hot take or cold take or tweet or TikTok dance on the subject. This is non-creature, right? No, it's not non-creature. Alright, good beats. Alright, so we can no longer Heliod combo this game. Just lifelinking is going to be solid, though. If we draw another white creature, we can also attack with the Heliod this turn. The third and final wear tear. One of these wear tears could have been a recommission, but I know they showed us Chalice. Chalice is pretty good against us. Obviously, it feels bad to just have drawn 3 effectively dead cards this game, though. Yeah, wear tears take revenge after we bottomed it, exactly. There's just no winning with this card in this matchup. Okay, there's some targets. We also don't have red mana, it's funny enough. It's like staring down 2 targets with no red mana because of the Tide Shaper is pretty funny. We're still doing pretty well, I think. Oh, in their instep, they're vialing in something. I kind of feel like they misclicked this. Oh no, they're gonna tap the Giver. Okay. Oh, but yeah, they just untaps. Okay, and so now I can wear tear. Yeah, they just said in the chat that they punted. I could give Pro Blue. They have the Mutavault as a blocker. I think I'd just rather leave up the Giver. Happy enough just to gain a bunch. It's also really big that this Ranger Captain is now 6/6. It's out of Dismember range. I think I'm also going to kill the Vial right now. Chalice in 1 stops them from casting another Vial at their turn, and I could just get rid of this later. I don't have a big rush with 2 more wear tears in the hand. Kind of fun, just fair Heliod taking over this game. Maybe another Lord would be kind of bad. Okay, that's kind of bad. Doesn't do much either. So I have to give Pro Blue. Give Pro Blue, go up to 19. I guess I should have thought a little bit more. Pro Blue, go up to 19. They have 4 plus 7, 11 damage. Yeah, I mean, I don't have another line, but if they have, if they draw a Lord for their turn, or the Flash Lord for their draw off Sylvoon, we lose. I think Arc-Champion has a place off Ragavan mono white. You can cut Ragavan for a few different cards. I don't think Arc-Champion is that good. Damn it. They drew the Lord. This is 19, right? Maybe I miscounted. No, this is 17. Okay, we're not dead. Yeah, sorry, I miscounted. I thought that I was like getting exact seed, but good thing I suck at math, huh? Although maybe sometimes I'll like count that I'm dead to something, and then I'll just not be dead, and I feel like I'm getting like Mandela affected into the best timeline possible, which is, you know, fine, I guess. We're Nimble Obstructionist here. You can play like one, so like -4 Karn. I'm able to do this pretty quick because I have thought about this build. Like getting to play Ice Fang is really nice. Getting to play Ice Fang is really nice. I think I would not play the snow-covered island, though. I think I just want all forests. I would play the third gingerbread cabin over the snow-covered island. Let's lay down arms this. I think I would play Mulldrifter over Obstructionist, not play Karn, play 4 3-mans. You can play 1 Obstructionist, I guess. I really don't like it that much. But I would also be someone interested in, like, some number of Snapcaster or some number of hard evidence. Hard evidence, like being an early blocker for Ragavan, is really important in the deck. Although you have the Wall of Blossoms, so maybe you don't need that as much. But I want to see no Karn, 4 3-mans. Maybe a third Portal to Phyrexia, 2 Dismember. I think that's how I'd play it. I think obviously your sideboard opens up a lot. You get to play Veil of Summer. You get to play a lot of different stuff. You can look at the sideboard I had for my my Shape a New deck to get some insight, or maybe I can pull it up for you. But I have thought about this version, like Simic with Ice Fang. I think this is interesting. Double Giver is pretty nice. I think not letting them connive this turn is maybe a little nicer. Why not Waker Waves in these style decks? You could play Waker. I think that I would rather just like recur Mulldrifters and Eternal Witnesses and stuff. Yeah, I do want a couple of Eternal Witnesses because like recurring Witness to Shape a New, get 2 portals into play is really nice. I like that you get Giganta too. I guess if you get Dismember, you lose Giganta, and Witness you lose Giganta. Maybe that's okay. I would prefer not to. Ever considered Magmatic Insight with Red and 6? You'd have to probably play it in like a slightly different shell. Like it would have to be like a Salt Loam type deck. Don't love having to Solitude the Shredder. We could maybe even have held it. I think it's okay to Solitude there and stop the connive. I like getting the 2/3 Giver against the Ragavan. I think it's our first time playing against Murktide today, which is a breath of fresh air. There, like the last 2 weeks, there's been so much Murktide. Even when we're playing like Food, we just have a really good Murktide matchup. I'm exhausted playing against it all stream, every stream. Oh, gross. Archmage's Charm stealing my 2/3 Giver is disgusting here. Land plus Bolt plus Archmage's Charm, it does not really get much worse than that for us here. I do think I'm supposed to Ranger-Captain instead of get rid of this. I think I'm just supposed to get Ballista. We think about mono white Heliod shell, more ephemerate style deck with Wall of Omens, Arid Champion, Blinking Ranger, Captain of Eos. Okay, so there are things about what you've said I like and things I dislike. Auriok Champion plus Ephemerate so that you get to gain like 2 life is not a synergy in my mind that I'm that interested in. Wall of Omens is... Oh, no, they could Ranger Captain for DRC. Gross. That is a direction you can go. I would really like there to be a better, more synergistic card than Wall of Omens to play. And I would honestly like be more likely to try to splash a color. I would be more likely to try to splash a color than build a deck that way, I imagine. Yeah, literal Death Toucher players, huh? And Spell Snare. Okay, I'm done. That's okay. Things get better post-board, too. Not that they're really that bad. Game 1, we get to bring in a Forge-Tender, a Giant Killer, these Sanctifiers, which are fine. And I think that I'm going to do what I did against Jund. It didn't work out, so this is still like kind of an experimental plan. But just try going off the Heliod combo completely. Just be like a very low to the ground value deck, and see again, kind of an experimental sideboard plan, but Wear Tear for EE. Wear Tear is not a good answer to EE. Like EE is very often pop the turn it's cast. Alright, I like this hand. I like that I can just recommission Ragavan if they kill turn 1. Is Spell Snare actually good? I would usually play Spell Pierce instead, but you can play a Spell Snare. I'll tell you what, when you resolve a Spell Snare, you always feel good and you always feel smart. And I like feeling good and I like feeling smart. I'm getting pizza. Esther said I was getting pizza. I don't get it. Oh, yes, we brought up pizza. I don't know how I just couldn't see Esther's comment. I save the pizza for after the stream, though, sweetie. Esther always loves to stuff me with food, but I always feel so self-conscious when I'm eating on stream. Okay, nice draw. I think I don't know if I'm gonna bolt them or not. Like I can also play the 1-drop I get off Ranger-Captain, so either Giver or Sentinel. Okay. Yeah, let's just keep the ability to hardcast Solitude next turn. I think that's probably a bit better than bolting them here. How did her interview go? I think the first one didn't go that well. She didn't get that job, but she's had a lot more interviews like the last couple weeks that have gone better, thankfully. And so we kind of expect her to get like at least 1 offer this week, maybe 2. Although you know how it goes with jobs, right? You know, sometimes it's the hope that kills you. All right, so if they have Unholy Heat now, which they didn't have earlier, but if they have Unholy Heat for Ragavan, I get to just save it with an Idyllic Grange. Oh, this is so dirty. Literally Mystic Sanctuary. I feel like I just summoned that into existence too. I imagine this gets counterspelled. We'll jam it though. Oh, happy to 1-for-1 here. That was a great feeling. Nobody ever plays around Grange. It's just hard to. And it's double Solitude. Reveals Fiery Islet, my least favorite card in Murktide. Dursey. Let's just get that Ragavan out of Lightning Bolt range. Let's get that right out of Lightning Bolt range. Funny, Ragavan is better in this deck than like almost any deck I've put it in recently. It's crazy. Like I don't think Ragavan's that good in prowess or food, but in this deck with the Granges, the Luminarch Aspirants, the Giver of Runes, the Lay Down Arms, just like really, really good. Shell. Okay, a little short of casting a Murktide. Monkey Boggles. I don't think I could ever advocate for something as degenerate as Monkey Boggles. So I'm going to cast Solitude before Aspirant, since if my opponent has Spell Snare, they won't get the Surveil. Which is a card they showed us last game. Is not usually a card I play around against Murktide until they show it to me. Monkey and Taxes. Ragavan and Death and Taxes is probably pretty good. You also get Recruiter and Magus of the Moon if you want it, but both of the Death and Taxes players turn their nose at good cards. All right, I think I like the sideboard plan. Let's run it back. Your end should be legal for Death and Taxes. Now, finally, a take. I would agree with that take, but who can agree with Death and Taxes is? Would a Zoo-style deck playing Granges and Recommissions alongside Tribal Flames and the Shoba Brawler be a thing or too clunky and slow? Well, you can get Domain because of Triomes. I feel like the Granges and Recommissions probably are not better than like the traditional Zoo mana base. Okay, easy keep. We'll just draw 2 lands in a row. But to give ourselves a challenge, we'll mulligan. But it's also to mull to 6. We have turn 1 Esper Sentinel, which I always love against Murktide. Opponent keeps their 6, we keep our 6. They have a monkey, we have a laydown arms. I'll try to save these 4 Granges. So now I guess I'll get a tap land. Imagine we have a dead Esper. Oh, no play. They did mulligan, so they could have Archmage's Charm here. They didn't have Counterspell, they didn't have Lightning Bolt, they didn't have Unelite, they didn't have Ledger Shredder, they didn't have DRC, so they must have like lands, Archmage's Charms, land, Archmage's Charm, Subtlety, Murktide. I think Force Spike would see play. I think Force Spike would probably, like Mana Tithe, end up seeing less play than it should. If that makes sense. Example of Monkey and Taxes. I don't have a deck list, but I think Imperial Recruiter, Magus of the Moon, Ragavan, the 3 mana 2/2 that wear tears on ETB if you have mountains and plains. I think all of those cards are cards I would probably be playing in Death and Taxes if I was going to be building Death and Taxes. Okay, that's a card that can make sense. Yeah, Brothers Hood could be a card. Brothers Hood is okay here. It'll be a 2 for 2. That is good. Another card that can be on our Dwagar Hedge Mage. Could this morph this into a company deck? Just splash 1/2 Temple Gardens. It's way more than splashing 1 or 2 Temple Gardens. You have to cut 4 cards for Collected Company. But yeah, you could potentially play Collected Company in the shell. That was like, very common pre-MH1. I think that I prefer this version. But I'm not. I probably cut Solitudes, which I don't want to cut the Solitudes very really. I consider coming back to Resurgent Belief with the printing of the new Omniscience. I've considered it, maybe one day. Yeah, the new Omniscience is Resurgent, or one with the multiverse, sorry. Okay, I think I'm just gonna go to combat. Could diversify the counters. Could also try to play around Brotherhood End. Although I guess I can still save a Sentinel from Brotherhood End here. My opponent could hardcast a Subtlety for blocks. Okay. So let this Surveil trigger resolve. This trigger is on the stack first here. So let me go ahead and put a counter on this Esper Sentinel in response. So that I get to draw at least a card here. And then they can pay 1 for this. But I don't want to put my counter on the Sentinel that's just going to die anyways, if that makes sense. Yeah, so then they're going to pay 1, presumably. And then I'm not going to run out the Solitude into 2 open mana. Especially on a turn where they like can counter without having to pay for Sentinel. This deck do true. Yeah, so I played a version of this deck like a month before Brothers War or something like that, a couple weeks. And I was playing Leyline Binding and Prismatic Ending. And we had a good stream with that deck. It was pretty good. And I remember thinking that was a good way to build the deck. Okay, so I think I'm going to put the counter on the Aspirant here. Yeah, this deck's been doing well. We 3-2'd our first league. I should have 4-1'd. I kind of punted. Then we 4-1, and now we're 3-0. We had a similarly good day with it the other day as well. Okay, get a card. Okay, so I do think that like guaranteeing the Sentinel is going to be out of bolt range will be good. We are getting a little teensy tiny bit mana flooded. I think I'm going to still hold the Solitude because I'm kind of soft to a Murktide. I'll Solitude probably end of turn again like I did last turn. We also have lethal next turn. Yeah, Esper Sentinel is really messed up, huh? I feel like the gameplay today has also been really good. It's obviously hard to quantify how good or bad gameplay is, but I've been having a great time today. So there's our card. Not a bad pickup. They find Engineered Explosives, which they can play and crack on 1 to trade Esper Sentinel and DRC. So while Solituding the DRC and exiling it does not seem like a good line, I think just casting the Solitude should be lethal. But just not exile the DRC. Okay. 4-0. We should have 4-1'd our first league. Then we did 4-1 the second league. Now we're 4-0 playing for the trophy. Let's get a... Oh, wait, sorry. There's already a league prediction. Only 9% of Twitch chatters bet on the trophy here. So we could see a very, very big payday. Number 1 was only 9,000 points for Draft Chaff Giraffe. Up against another Giganta deck, which has been really commonly prowess today. We play against a lot of prowess. We have a lay down arms if this is prowess. I think I'm going to keep this. Obviously, the recommission's kind of awkward, but I'm going to kind of assume that they're prowess, and I'll keep this in that matchup. Yeah, we're 2-0 against prowess today. But it says cool time to ghost. I'm JK, I'm telling my friends. Yes, recommission the late arms. Yeah, and then like any card that we can recommission is going to end up being a good top deck here, which is, a big chunk of our deck. Flooded Strand Giganta. So Domain Zoo? Probably Domain Zoo. Yeah, pretty good bolts, pretty good. Oh, it could be Jeskai Breach too. Jeskai Breach with Gloomshot. Well, sure wish I could just slam the Aspirant, but happy to draw a card to recommission. Happy to draw another early threat. Just lay down arms. Tinker, 5 months. Thank you. Yeah, next time. Okay, it is Domain Zoo. Maybe have to take a hit from the Brawler. Yeah, let's Ranger-Captain this turn. Next turn, Recommission plus Luminarch Aspirant can be a pretty good turn. I could also, I think I get Ballista to go with the Aspirant too. This also blocks the Brawler, of course. Kind of looks like they're going to Tribal Flames my Ranger-Captain, get Domain, hit me for 5 if I don't Solitude. Maybe not. Where I play Recommission because of Ballista. Ballista, Heliod, Ranger-Captain, Ragavan, Luminarch Aspirant, Esper Sentinel are all good cards to Recommission. Alright, take the trade, happily. That's 2 for 1, gamers. Might have to Solitude this. I can get a white card off the Ranger-Captain. Can draw a white card. I would rather just have a Solitude in the hand, so... Yeah, let's Recommission the Ranger-Captain. We could also get it up to 6/6. Yeah, so we can actually go grab a Giver of Runes, because it's the best white card here. Counter on the Ranger-Captain, Aspirant counter on the Ranger-Captain, just get it up to 6/6, and then if they can answer it, fine, I just Solitude. If not, we've got the blocker. Can this deck be as powerful? We have a very good record on the day bowl too. We're currently 11-3. We should probably be 12-2. Did a little bit of a little punt earlier. I've definitely been liking Recommission a lot. There's another card that just like it's a thing plus a counter, like just like the plus with the counter is like really easy to like overlook. I'm trying to think. I don't know. There's a card that's eluding me that kind of reminds me of. I'm gonna sack the Ranger-Captain here. Can't stay away. That doesn't give a counter, does it? Undying Evil? Yeah, Undying Evil. The Undying effects. Like that +1 counter on the elementals just matters so much. It's really hard to even articulate it, honestly. Yeah, the counter for Beoform does matter a decent amount, yeah. I have considered Ephemerate. I mean, Ephemerate would be like, it would be like a 10 card different list at least. Because you need like 6 more creatures to Ephemerate and 4 Ephemerates. Alright, pretty good turn for my opponent. Taking 5 and just trying to draw land for Hardcast Solitude seems pretty reasonable. But I'm doing pretty well here, even if I pitch the Solitude. So I think that if I draw a land and can hardcast a Solitude next turn, that's going to be fine. And if I don't draw a land next turn, I'm going to wish I had invoked the Solitude and I'll be in worse shape. So let's just take the line that puts me in better shape this turn. Sign of Draco. Okay. Well, only 1 card left in my opponent's hand, although they do have access to everybody's favorite companion, Gigantha. We have a lot of options. I think I'm going to Ballista on 1 and give her... Be better against Ragavan to have the Ballista in play. Also nice not to be hit down to a multiple of 5, to not be dead to 2 Tribal Flames, as it seems these decks often have as their last 2 cards. Thankfully, one of their last 2 cards is a Wooded Foothills. Seems like they have a card with a decision involved in their hand. Not sure exactly what that is. Gotta be a removal spell. Yeah, I think they're like thinking that the Giver of Runes is better, but they don't want to die to a Heliod, and they have a removal spell. It also might be like Tribal Flames, and they just want to be able to kill me. It is Tribal Flames, and they decide to kill the Giver. And they don't forget about Gigantha. So a land is great here, especially an Idyllic Grange land, but any land is fine. Heliod is fine, or good even. Another Solitude is not very good. I do think that my only line right now is to put a counter and attack. Then I have to think a little bit about if I'm interested in evoking. I don't think I'm going to evoke. I'm just going to take 4 this time. Is there a reason not to play Mycon's Lattice in the cardboard of the Avestorm deck? Yes, it's been banned. Yeah. Okay. I have been remanded a lot by Domain Zoo lately, so let's not be. And I can block Solitude and double ping. I'll block Solitude on Gigantic, double ping if I want to. Great to have another Solitude to hardcast in my hand for next turn. Feeling okay about our spot. Hopefully their hand is 2 Stubborn Denials. 2 lands. Probably not 2 lands. This line has a hard time against another Draco. Yeah, I don't know. It's like another Draco, like, it's really not that different, right? Because they'll just play it pre-combat. Like, they would, like, they should play it pre-combat. But, like, this line, like, at least could meaningfully play around Remand in a, you know, nice way. But it is booing this line. Everybody's a critic, huh? Not a bad draw.